if I'm streaming. Well, anyway, everyone, this is Gas, and this is my new transmission from concept art from scratch. Actually, it's gonna be drawn with Gus in the meantime, but anyway, this is concept art from scratch. That means from zero to hero. I guess that's the way. I don't know. Kids are way better than me with these hands things. And I want to acknowledge publicly, oh, sorry, my nephew who gave me this from last Christmas and said G, which is my name, guys. And it's a cup of Joe with delicious coloring coffee. Mmm, hot, hot, hot. It's hot. Well, anyway, this is for me. While I'm doing this, it's gonna be my cup of energy, of the cup of Joe. If anyone knows why Americans refer to the coffee as Joe, please let me know in the comments. I have no idea about that. And by the way, let me put my chat. Restream chat. Yeah, let's see my restream chat. So to know who is online, who's not. And actually, I just, oh yeah, I have to put myself in. Okay. Yep. Wow. I'm in my 4 channels. Yeah. So I'm transmitting everywhere. So that's cool. Let me check my browser. Yep. It's lower than the recommended. I don't know why. Oh, now it's an excellent connection. That's cool. Yeah, I have 1 GB per second. 1 GB per second. It shouldn't be that slow. Anyway, well, let's go back to whatever we are. So, what I'm doing. Remember the last time we were just not learning, we just checking about using these references. And I'll show you in the last transmission. I'll show you already about PureRef. So PureRef is a program that you can just put in one, just like a huge blanket or huge mood board, all your data. I mean, literally all your ideas in there. So you will have access to all your things in real time with no necessity to go and open, like I had my mood board before, that I had to open Windows images every single time, that I had like 3 or 4 images all in the row. Now I can have it all of them in the same place using using PureRef. By the way, I'm using Restream.io, so thank you so much then. And let me check. Let me put my PureRef. Yeah, PureRef. The Octopusian. I'm gonna be doing the Octopusian. So what are we gonna do? We are going to start working in the Octopusian, which is this beautiful girl that I just painted, the one with the lips like that, which is pretty weird. But I like the pose. I like the pose for that reason. I just use it. Well, my apologize because I will be from now on. I will be transmitting this late instead of being like a 1 to 1:30 or 2 p.m. Eastern time. I mean the United States Eastern time actually. For now, I'm just gonna be doing this a little later. So anyway, we are in this sunny, not that sunny. If you watch my window over there, it is not that sunny at all. It's actually pretty cloudy, Florida. Well, good thing we have 60 or something degrees, and it's gonna be like 77, they said. But I'm not outside, as you can see. I'm here in my home. And let's get back to the business. So what I'm gonna do with this Octopusian girl is just go back and show this girl in more details. Yeah. So that is the face that I was using, and I have the face from the other side, and it's not 100% accurate because I'm not looking for doing a portrait. I'm looking for doing a concept art. So it's based, not exactly like that. It's not alike. It's based. So the other thing is just well, this is a bummer story actually. Well, as you know, I'm not like an advocate, but I have XP. This is an XP, and this my my display screen is an XP. It's an RT 16.6 HD. But this is a bit of a bummer for me. It's pretty much like a deal breaker because I just being informed that my tablet cannot use the new beta driver. The new beta driver from XP, the beta driver, it has like a nice features and nice UI, but I cannot use it because my tablet happens to have an old hardware. But my tablet is only 3 years old. How is that old hardware? I mean, I'm not talking something that I just bought in the 90s or the 2000 or 20 years ago. I just talking something that just bought it in the 2017. Why is that like old technology? I mean, was it the end of 2017 actually? Why is that referred as like old technology? Like it's an old firmware, old OLE. That word, oh my god, that word is oh, so lame. Yeah, if you buy a Wacom, for example, for instance, if you buy a Wacom, you will have support from the old Wacoms like the bamboos to the new ones. I mean, like the intros, like the new generation. If you have an old intros, you have a new generation thing. So it is saying if you have an old syntax, you will have the new generation syntax. So they will give the extended support and certain range. I mean, I hope to have my support pretty much passing the 3 years, like a border. I mean, it passed 3 years, or it's not even 3 years actually. It's like just yeah, it's like yeah, 3 years. It's like 3 years. So is this 3 years old? Is something like all firmware? I don't know. For that reason, I don't like it much. So yeah, that is a deal breaker for me. And just don't surprise yourself if in the future you will see me using a Wacom. Because if I buy something, I would like to have that something working perfectly with me the next 8 years or something like that. Yeah, the last bamboo that I have an old bamboo Wacom bamboo drawer. My Wacom, my bamboo was with me like what? Like almost 10 years. And I have Sapphire before, like 6, 7 years. So I like to buy stuff and, you know, stick with that stuff for the next 10 years at least. Yeah, really. So the idea or something that just becoming like all firmware, aka that's like a slang word for obsolete, then I don't like it very much. But anyway, I'm using this because it's the only one that I have. But yeah, if you are going to start and you are using, oh, the guys using XP Pen, yeah, XP Pen is good. If you buy a new one, yeah, you will have the next one, but I don't know how long. That is the bummer. That is the pretty much the potential deal breaker that I'm just find myself into. So I don't like that much. I don't like much of that idea. But it's happened that you said, well, Gaskin has right, he's right. Well, the XP is good for starters. So, thank you. Oh, I found it in some place, and actually, I found that reference. It's not my screen is it's a reference. I found that reference in the what is this place at Pinterest.com. I found it Pinterest again. Thank you. Noob half 2005. Thank you, man. I found that picture in Pinterest and I'm using it as a reference for the art I'm doing. I'm gonna check the art later. Well, coming back to what I was just talking to you. Uh, xppen and Huion and the others are good for starters. You can just learn the trade here, the skills you can learn in there. But once you have it, you can just switch to Wacom. Once you have your contracts, once you have your commissions from the professional life, you switch to Wacom. I will do that. I'm gonna do that actually because that was a bummer. They called my tablet old firmware and it's only 3 years old and it cannot use the beta driver, the one that it has all the fireworks is so cool. Not good, not good at all for me. Well, let's see that we have a know-how right now, and a know-how. I probably want to see what I'm doing, why I have this in the screen, in the other screen. So let's get back to work. Well, remember the last time, like almost 2 weeks, because I was pretty busy the last week. Well, the last time we did what I call Octopusian. This is an Octopusian. Yeah, man, totally with you. And I'm gonna buy me a Wacom. There's a nice thingies, but I will wait for the Black Friday. Yeah, I pretty much of my stuff is during that's the kind of stuff of the Black Fridays, which is the best day of the year for us, the techno nerds and artists. We call ourselves techno nerds artists. I don't know what's that. Anyway, I'm just deviating. Oh, anyway, so this is the Octopusian. I took that face from that face, and this is a reference. It's not a portrait. So that's a good thing about references. You don't have to say, oh, thank you so much. You don't have to say, okay, it's not a portrait. It's not exactly. Okay, they are not hiring you to do a portrait. If they want to hire you to do a portrait, they have to pay you more, by the way. Okay, so the Octopusian, this character that I just created, I use the pose of the leaves because I like it. I don't know why, but I like it. I like it in a woman. Looks sexy. Anyway, so just jumping to this thing, we have that, and now we are gonna do the line art because this is not line art. This is a sketch. Yeah, it has details, has that kind of stuff, but it's a sketch. We are going to jump to the line art. A line art, it doesn't have much details because in the sketch, you just cover whatever that you just put in there. Like you just cover the shadows, you just cover the forms of the shapes of the ear. You cover everything that you're gonna put in there. So that is your brutalistic, I can say, or rude, also somebody, your rude sketch. So actually, it's a pretty refined sketch, if you ask me. But anyway, it's a sketch. So yes, this is the sketch. And how we can do that? Well, that's just super easy. You just got to go to pens. And the good thing about Clipstudiopaint, I'm a firm advocate from Clipstudiopaint. Why? Because I have Photoshop, and Photoshop is way better. And I mean, it's not way better. It's okay, dude, it doesn't matter. I will be here. And by the way, if you go to my YouTube channel, it's called the Driving Ghost, I guess. Yeah, Driving with Ghost too. If you go to my YouTube channel, you can just watch this because it's going to be right now. It's transmitting to Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter and Periscope. I'm using Restream.io. So as I told you, for this, we are going to do the line art. Well, line art is not as this shadowy casted. I had to cast the shadows. I had to make the reflections. No, no, no. You are not doing that. Line art is just lines. But it has to be clean. It has to be nice because line art is pretty much going to be pretty much the foundation of your painting. We are going to paint her. Yeah, probably next week. We are going to paint her. And I'm going to show you some tricks that I just, pick here, there, watching this video, watching that. One firm advice that I give you if you are going to go into art too is first, don't kid yourself. Okay, you're good, but you're not good as the masters. If you want to get to the masters, you have to be a beast. I mean, a beast practicing. You have to practice every single day. That is the only way to achieve that. There is no shortcut. There is no like a wormhole that I can be there. I'm gonna be in the next 100 years in the future when I'm a masters and I'll have the secret. No, there is no like a blue pill or black pill. There is no like a what, like a software that can be just downloaded like the Matrix, and you are suddenly Bruce Lee, the next Bruce Lee, or the next Jet Li. No, there's not nothing at all exists yet. If it exists, I will be the first guy in line to go to the trials for that. It will save me a lot of time. But anyway, if you want to go here to that level, you have to practice a lot. You have to know anatomy. You have to know how to draw. You have to know how to put your shadows. You have to know the difference between shapes and forms and that kind of stuff. And yeah, that's true. I know how you you can master what you know just progressing. Just progressing. You cannot master one day to the day. Oh, you seen these kids like 20, 30. They are very good at doing comics, doing penciling in comics. They are masters doing penciling comics. But how this kid can do that and I can't. Well, if you have the time, because they have a lot of free time when you're a kid, the only thing that your parents are asking for you is to study. You don't have to go outside and try to find a living. Uh-uh. You have to study. That's the only thing that I personally ask for my daughter. Just study. Give me good grades. Sacrifice yourself. The rest is up to you. It's your time. You can just hire, use it or waste it. That's a good thing. For that reason, you see these kids that they are so committed to practice that they are so good. They are masters right now. But there is a other level of people that's is, for example, like me. I was born with this talent, but this talent is also a skill. Yeah, I know how to use this. Yeah, I mean the regular one and also the digital one. But if it's not that I've been born with this. I haven't been born. I mean, with the talent in my mind. I don't know how to use it. For instances, probably I look younger than you think, but I these things are relatively new in time. They are just from the 2000 or around 1997, 1995. Before that, people don't use much tablets. People were even more skillful because they used to draw using a mouse. That's a crime, anyway. But yeah, people used to draw using a mouse before, and also they used to draw using the S, and they just paint with the mouse because they make the inking by hand in a regular paper using regular inks, and they do the digital painting using not even a tablet, using just a processor, a computer, probably a Unix one, and one of these programs like Painter in that time. Oh, there were so many programs for painting that they just come and go, and many of them don't even exist yet. I mean, right now. Let me take a joke. Hmm. This is good, but this is hot. Okay, so for doing this, the first thing is make this guy a little dim. Like 41% is great. Now go and create a new. You need a new layer. So go and create a new layer, and your new layer is gonna be the guy for the. So the good thing about these guys is that you can. This is something that I'm gonna miss in Wacom. Wacom doesn't have this kind of buttons. These buttons are called the express keys. Huion, all the Chinese, they have it. Well, Wacom doesn't have it. You have to buy a gizmo like it's like $100, but there is also a gizmo for $25 that pretty much do the same. But anyway, but I use this, which is the keyboard and the tablet. It could be good. Anyway, you just adapt. So, well, this is the good thing about tablets. They have this pressure. See this? This is pressure. I'm applying pressure. So the finest line is when there is no more pressure, and the smallest line is when there is pressure. So that's the good thing about digital art. The other good thing about digital art is that you can just erase it. There is no windows in real life, my friends. Many of you know that there is no windows in real life. Undo, or undo actually, undo. There's no undos in real life. The undos is something that you just find it in the digital world. So let's do our contour, and she's gonna have this. You are not gonna have much details, and the good thing about this is you don't have, if you don't feel secure that you have this to do like this at the beginning, you can just use this trick. This trick is make your screen or your tablet or your screen your screen or in your display tablet. Make your screen in whatever the place you are using. You are using a drawing tablet or display screen. Make your screen bigger so you can see the details, and you can just draw the details with nice pulse. By the way, the pulse is developed. This is something that you develop in time. It's not something that you've been born to. So I told you, you being born with that talent, but the talent per se needs a lot of practice. So it depends what is your style. You probably like super duper lines or thinner lines. It depends what is your style. But if you see the level of these tentacles right now, you will see that just to do the line art is gonna be also uh, hmm, it's gonna be also very, very difficult. So in this line art, I'm not using like this, doing the shading with the ink. I'm not doing this because I'm not gonna do nothing in the comic style. So it's not gonna be comic style. So since it's not gonna be comic style, you're not gonna need this. Line art is for you to do shapes and some details that you want to see it or to preserve more than others. If you're not sure about the lines, you can always do this. See? And also, from this angle, from this new perspective, you can see that things in more details. I do speak Spanish. I do speak Spanish actually. Okay, now we proceed, I mean, to do some small details. We don't want to do the biggest because probably the biggest one we're going to do with the brushes instead of the inker right now. But it will be something nice. Mm. Why am I doing this? Well, if you can see this part, let me show you this. This is how an octopus look. See, it's not like a polished surface. Yeah, because you know this kind of octopus, he's adapted to live in the reef, so it is mimic the form of the corals. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do here. So my Octopusian girl, she wouldn't look pretty much like a human, but in octopus parts, he will try to mimic the corals because probably they live what I do, what I'm doing. I'm the creator, so I just tell her where she lives. So she lives probably in an environment with all this kind of stuff. When I say stuff, these kind of animals. see, first part. So yeah. Okay, a little pencil break. This is pretty much line art. So this is the first part of the line art. The second part of the line art, for me at least, is trying to construct something called atmospheric perspective, which is pretty much of the thick black line in the parts that are separating objects. So you will have this kind of a three-dimensionality about the object. So you will see the object as is was the most resembled to a three-dimensional thing. You will see there is some parts that are more, you know, they are separated from each other, not just the same number of lines. That's why I like to use inks, and the trick is using, for example, I'm using a brush size 10. Many people use small brushes. I use big brushes and I do less pressure. So when you need more pressure, you just push a little more. The 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 pencil against the pen against the screen, or you pen against the tablet, so you will have more pressure. So you will have this thick line and suddenly coming a small one. So you will have like a this instead of having like this the whole time. That's the things that I like most about this is the actual pressure sensitivity. Something that you can use too, using, for example, a G pen in real life. I like the, what is it called? I like the drawings in traditional way. I start drawing traditional way when I was once a kid, and then when I progress using much of the non-traditional things like, inkers, like we call them canuteros in Spanish, which is the small ones that look like the mapping pen, but also is the G pen, also is the Saji, I guess, is the names. I know the Japanese names because that was a part of the set that I bought the first time that I started to be interested in doing inks. So the next time is I have from Zebra or Nikon, I have G pen and I have mapping pen or the Saji, and I will have to find out the what is it called, the spoon pen or something. These are neat pens. There's enough fountain pens. It's not like they have the ink and some kind of garnisher or something like that. No, these are something deep pens. You just dip it in the ink and just this drawing, the always. And I'm very interested right now in calligraphy. Yeah. So we have this part, and so far this is the second part of what I call the concept art. It's not like that's long. You can just cover this if you are pre-committed and you are pre-fast, you can have this fully developing like what, 1 hour? No, probably a little more. Probably a little more, including the painting, because the painting is the part that is most difficult. It is whether you like the details or you don't like the details. So if you don't like the details, well, it takes you so much because everything is like suggested details or what I call visual texture. So the visual texture is just applying some strokes of brush here, there with some colors. So you will have like the resemblance of the texture. The actual texture is creating is just like mimicking exactly as it looks. This and doing some like a lot of studies for this guy, for example, the pulp, this this guy, the octopus. So you will have to develop some system to create this kind of texture in the whole place. But the other thing is using what I call visual texture. The visual texture is just suggested. It's just a line here, a shadow there, so the brain starts to resemble. It's a bunch of spots there, so these spots will resemble a texture. It's not like remaking or retooling the textures. It's just doing it in a very simplified way, so simplified that your brain will assemble the rest. That is what is called visual texture. It's something that you use in traditional art, pretty much in abstract art. You will use that. You will use like mimicking some shadows, some lights, some this in the abstract or pretty much modern art, like the expressionism, like the cubism, sometimes in the other kinds of art. You can just run into the digital art. Yes, why not? There is not a rule. There's not a single rule in the books for concept art. There is no many, by the way, but there's not a rule that said that you have to do the same way as the concept artist from where's this place from Ubisoft down. Okay, there is not a rule, so you don't have to go like David Benzal. David Benzal of David Benzal. He is from Spain. He was the one of the great concept artists for Star Wars. I mean, for the original ones, that cool. And then for the sequels, that cool, that kind of artist. And his style is not like pretty much it's not like the the one you see in the World of Warcraft or the what's this other? There's many of these guys that do gaming, and they do a lot of concept art, and they just have this style. It's because they just got married with this artist, and the artist has this particular style for development. So he creates, he paints, and she, because I don't know if it's a she, he or she paints in this particular style. And they use these particular brushes, and they use these particular textures, and they use these particular shapes because it's part of their style. My style is different. My style, even for comics, is go to your European masters, like for example Moebius, like these Jean Girard, or the other guys like there's a bunch. The guy that do the Dawn of the Gods. Uh, they did a movie in the 90s about this comic. It's pretty much for it's like a Horus, the the falcon hawk head kind of dude that it was from ancient Egypt. This was God. So that kind of artist, that the one that I like. If you seen the movie Heavy Metal, for example, I would recommend you, not because it's the most moral movie, but it's the most artistic movie. It's a very good one. And also there is this guy from Fran Francetta, which is Firing Eyes. That is the style of Fran Francetta. If you go to these guys, you will see how they basically reimagine the kind of stuff. For example, right now the girls are in many of these. They are mangish. They have like a very squish hips. I mean, no, I mean waist and the huge hips, and they have a huge buttocks, and they have long legs. They look like Barbies, but with this, they're between. They're a mix between Barbies and Kim Kardashian. So yeah, that is the rule right now for doing this kind of pin-up art. But as you see, Fran Francetta, who was a master, he was a genius. It's not the same. Those girls look pretty much like big thighs, big legs, nice waist, but not even huge breasts. Depend on the mood of the artist. But they were pretty much like bulky if you compare with the girls of today. Yeah, they were like bulky. Why? Because Fran Francetta thought that in the beginning, the girls and the women at that time, they were more, in touch with nature. They do a lot of exercise. I mean, they have to run away from the lions or the bears or even the wolves. Yeah, they have to run a lot. Or even for the other dudes that want to mate with her without permission, aka called rape. So they just, want to they just have to have this kind of physical endurance and physical body. But that is something that you require to do if you are going to be a concept artist. You have to think outside the box and pretty much inside of the historical moment. Try not to be like the guys that put something Yesterday I was watching, let me tell you this. Yesterday I was watching Conan the Barbarian, the 1980s movies, which is, for me, the best one ever done. Arnold Schwarzenegger start is pretty good. James Earl Jones and the other dudes, oh man, they are great. The the wardrobe, the design, the concept art is genius. Because if these guys are in the cold, in the mountains, they don't dress like bikini warriors. Okay, the guys are not like, oh, I have my full naked chest and there is probably 10 below zero. Oh, but I don't care because I'm a macho. No, in real life, people use covers. They don't have armor plates. They don't have armors that look like Romans in a time way before the Romans. They don't have that kind of stuff. They are, they don't. We don't know much or pretty much nothing about that that time frame, but at least we know that some things wasn't there. So people in that time frame, they don't develop this kind of screws. They don't develop this kind of technology because it didn't exist. But they were also skillful, and that's what I like from that movie. And it's a fantasy movie, but the art, it doesn't look like something take out from Playboy and Amazon and that kind of stuff. No, it's pretty good. The second movie wasn't that good. But the first one, Conan, that was genius from Dino De Laurentiis. I love that movie. I really love that movie. And that is the very best proof of good concept art. When the artist just embed himself and try to do research and try to do the other things that it needing to do this stuff. So this is pretty much line art. And what I'm gonna do after this pencil break is this. I'm going to create a new layer. Another layer goes? Yes, I'm gonna create a new layer. And this other layer is for, I call them black lines, for more black lines. So I'm gonna do this. Before it was 10 pixels or whatever is the size here. Now the size is totally, absolutely, and completely in 15. So it's bigger. So what I'm gonna do right now is start making this. So I'm separating the human features from the octopus. Why I should do this? Well, because we are creating what I just call, what is called, but many of my teachers is called like atmospheric perspective. So we are making this so you will see what is connected to what and what is part of what and what is not part of what. So you are isolating characters. We are creating this kind of stuff here. I'm gonna do a new one here. We're not gonna do all the way up for the tentacles, which is some parts, because we are going to make these tentacles. And this is something that you can do using just a regular kind of liner. But why I'm using another layer instead of the layer that I used to do this? Because if something goes wrong, I can go back to this layer. All the time that I spend doing the line art is not gonna be wasted. Because if it happened the other way, I have to go to the line art again and again and try to get it out. That's the beauty of working in layers. So we are separating the parts. As I told you, I'm not going to separate everything or reline everything, and just some parts that I know they are good to explain the shapes. And this is kind of a artist license. You can do whatever the style you want. By the way, this theory also works for traditional art. I'm doing this also for my inks. They look pretty good after. Okay, I can tell you that this is it. So I just finished. Let me put in here. This is the line art. I just finished the line art, and you can see the separations between the objects. And then tomorrow, well, not tomorrow, next week, I will proceed to paint it. So this is the way you can have it. And also, if you want it, for example, you can just make it this way. Is even better. You just make it this way, like it's a little wash up or something. Oh, it looks, it will look pretty good that way too. So this is pretty much what is done with the Medicons dot. This is line art. So you are doing line art right now. So the line art has to be, has the name, lines. So you do some kind of extra thick lines in some parts just to separating objects. For example, we have this part of the head, and the lines are separating the head from the tentacles, and also the ear from the tentacles, and also some parts from the tentacles. So you have to try to force your brain to try to, figure out what kind of image is this. Because you know now, you know that there is a head, there is a bunch of tentacles instead of hair, there is an ear here, ear there. She has teeth, she has, a lip. The lower lip is just like beating or something like that. And you have this kind of weird jewelry. You have that she has an elongated, way elongated neck, and something like that. and you have a beautiful explanation about the shapes there. And then you have this, which is the regular kind of actual line art. So this is the one that you are gonna use when you come to paint. Next week we are going to, start painting this, and I'll show you some tricks that you can use also in the Clipstudiopaint. I'm using Clipstudiopaint Pro. And by the way, just for you to know, just if you don't have Clipstudiopaint Pro, no, sorry, I want my copy. I love so much copy. If you want to have Clipstudiopaint Pro, and right now you don't have it because you think it's expensive, it's like a 60 bucks or something, just wait, because probably in the upcoming months and whatever, you just don't know, like, and the rabbit will go out of the bushes, and Clipstudiopaint will be like a 50% off. So you can have Clipstudiopaint Pro for only $20. That happened the last time. That's what I have. And that's the way why I have Clipstudiopaint right now. And then the other things that I like to tell you about this is once you have Clipstudiopaint, you can just wait for the right time the same way, and you can just upgrade to the Clipstudiopaint EX, the X. I don't know what the X means, but Clipstudiopaint Pro EX for only $85, which is very, very nice. If you compare with the Photoshop that you have to pay $25, $20 per month in order to have Photoshop working, yeah, that's the problem. But this is something that you can just surpass if you go and try to follow Clipstudiopaint. So you will know when they will have this, which is a very, very, let me say, it's a very nice price. That's the way I got my Clipstudiopaint. And praying a new hat 2005, he has a Huion, as he mentioned. They are very good. If you have a Huion, an xppen, what is the other is Pablo or whatever, whether it's a 12 inches, 13 inches, or 16 inches, or 24 inches. If you are, the starting artist as me, well, once you get the clients like I have right now, you will start thinking in something more durable, something with more, what I said, more support, like the Wacom. Good thing, yeah, right now Wacom is not $2,000 anymore. So there is the Wacom 16, which is pretty decent, it's pretty good. They said that is like a, for starters, like just like a starting point tablet. But let me tell you, this is a starting point tablet. So the Wacom 16 will be a nice upgrade for me. And also there is the Wacom 21. The Wacom 21 is the 21 inches is 1200. Oh, 1200 for the tablet is so much. Dude, 1200 for the tablet. It is something that you're going to use the next 10 years. Yes, think of this. It's investment. You invest right now, and you won't have to worry about in the next 10 years. You will have to change your computer or making a new one like me. I put this together, or you can just buy a new one, but every 2 years. But you can, for sure, you aren't going to upgrade your Wacom in like 10 years. That is the good thing. Is if you are an artist and you have this kind of artist mentality like me, you are looking for something that is as good as durable. Yeah, because probably you don't know how the weather is gonna be, because it will be good today, a lot of clients, a lot of commissions, but probably you hit a dry spot. And if your tablet doesn't have a good support during that dry part, wouldn't be a good thing. Wouldn't be a good thing at all. So just start investing when you have the big fat cows instead of when going to the skinny and starving cows time. I took from the Bible. Next week I'll tell you. Hey, Anuga 2005. Good year, bad. I just finished the um, the Lineart, and I was telling the guys about doing good investment in tablets. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you like it. This is gonna be on Twitch for probably 30 days or something, so you can just go watch it and rewatch it. And also, it's gonna be in YouTube for a longer time. That means until I got bored and I delete it, but I'm not gonna do it. So, yeah, you can just go to my YouTube channel and please remember, I'm gonna change the remember this channel, this content was brought to you by me. So, just go and subscribe to my Twitch, to my YouTube. I would appreciate it to my through my YouTube a lot. I really will appreciate that. It's just a small, it's a tiny bit of effort. You just go and click. It means probably 10 seconds for you, less, even 1 second. But for me, means a lot. It's a way to show me that you are, you know, you are supporting this artist. And thank you so much for joining me. And remember, next week we are going to start painting that octopus girl, the Octopusian. So thank you guys. Thank you for joining me. And remember, everything that you do for art to advance your career is a good thing. Don't think that you can just learn this by yourself. Don't kid yourself. You always need a teacher. There is a good places where you can have a teacher. Either is in university, going to art school, or going through these courses that is everywhere. There is Domestika, there is the one that I like the most, udemy.com, and where you can have nice courses for designing, for pretty much for everything, for illustration, for digital painting, for concept art, for just $10 sometimes or $100, which is cheaper if you compare with the university. And you go there, and if you've been born with this, just think of what Eugene Delacroix said one time. Just tell me how to do it. I'll put the rest. Yeah, just tell me how to do it. The rest, that's how. I will do it. It's not your business how I do it. I will do it. Just teach me how to do it. So just go ahead, and I hope you can join me next week, where I can just start just painting this Octopusian. Thank you guys. Have a nice weekend. And if you just catch a little, you know, late, this from now on is gonna be my new hours. It's around 3 to 4 p.m. For transmissions, around 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern time, American Eastern time. So this is Gas, and thank you for joining me in Drawing, because this is concept art from scratch. We did this Octopusian like 2 weeks ago from scratch. That's what Illustrator. Just go to my channel, subscribe, and watch those videos. That means a lot to me. And thank you guys for joining me today.